Farmers Podcast. I am Casey Coggins here with Alvin Hebert.
What up, what up?
And no Andrew Lira. He is having to take the night off and take care of some stuff at home.
Taking the night off, lucky guy.
Like this is a hard job to do.
It's so grueling. Put in them hours.
So, with it just being us two, we're going to try to do this as a shorter podcast, but you know how I like to talk, so this will still end up being longer than anticipated. So, All-Star Weekend in the NBA just wrapped up. The players have the week off. Games don't start up until Thursday, so we'll see what kind of drama that they can get into over these next couple days.
I think they already are.
And then with MLB heating up with spring training and all that, we had a big signing today, so we'll discuss that, what it means for other players, and prospects for teams. So let's get into it. And All-Star Weekend was, I feel like it just flew by unnoticed and just...
It was just a normal day.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Like, the regular season games are more exciting than All-Star Weekend. It just kind of seems to me that's the case, which didn't used to be how it was. But with the All-Star game I thought it was a decent game, but nobody really stood out, which, you know... last year or 2 years ago, you had Anthony Davis scoring 52, and you've had Westbrook going for like triple doubles, and you've had like wow, that player's really stood out. But this year, the only player that really stood out was Giannis, and that was only for the first half. And then after that, it was like Dame had a moment, and Clay had a moment, and Steph had a moment. And LeBron and Wade had their moment of bonding together. Dirk had his moment. So it was just like mini moments. Paul George hardening Harden.
Yeah.
With his step back. And Andrew, I believe, his prophecy was they were going to break 400, and like some team was going to break 200, and I was like, there's no way in hell that's going to happen. And I mean, they didn't really even get that close. It 178 to 164, and what surprised me is at the end of the game, I was like, now who the hell is the MVP? Like would you have given it to Kevin Durant?
I probably would have given it to Giannis, because even though Giannis was like the main, like
the loser,
even though he was the loser, but I felt like he had the better stats still compared to everybody else. I felt like Kevin Durant's game was a typical Kevin Durant game, like
right. That's
nothing stand out, nothing was special.
That's why I brought up how like nobody stood out. Like,
yeah,
no,
it wasn't like one person took over the game. Like, all right, I'm gonna
and
show and win this
like,
out.
I feel like there were moments where they were both teams and all the players were like putting in a better effort on defense, but for the most part it was 93s shot by Team LeBron and 77 threes shot by Team Giannis. So 167 total threes shot, and they made, 62 of them. So they were 62 of 167, which averages out to about 36%, 36.5%. Not very good.
Yeah.
Like and it used to be. You saw a lot more of the like highlight dunks and like crazy alley-oops, and this was just kind of like, you know, those pickup games where everybody thinks they're Steph Curry, and so they just like walk the ball up, and then they just like get that one screen set, and they come around it and just pull up from 30.
Yeah, typical jump shot game. Yeah,
that's how it was, and like they're just. that's what disappointed me about the game is I thought it was a good game. It was a good All-Star game, but like when I found out that Kevin Durant had 31, I was like, what? Where the hell did those 31 come from? And like that's the reason why he got MVP is he had the most points on the winning team. I kind of thought that it should have been given to Damian Lillard if they were going to give it to anybody on the winning team, because while he didn't have 31, they were down like 18, and Dame and Clay and Bradley Beal
brought them back,
and Dame had the like 3 consecutive threes, 2 of them from the same exact spot from like 32 feet, and kind of like you saw the bench of Team LeBron like jumping up and celebrating and running onto the court, and they got really into it at that point, and that was Dame who did it. So I just felt like he was the only one that really had the biggest moments on the winning team.
I could see that. I mean, I wouldn't have mind Dame winning the MVP, but of course they always give it to the one with the most points.
Right.
Yeah. So. But that's just how the game is now. It's like, but like what I wanted to see is like back in the day, like you would see them go like 1-on-1s.
Yeah, and
like you got all those like ball handlers.
Not even back in the day. Back in like 2007, when you had Kobe and D Wade, and D Wade broke Kobe Bryant's nose with an elbow.
Yeah, and then like when you had Allen Iverson and Starberry, you know, with the handles they got, they were showcasing it all out there on the court. And I'm like, you got Kyrie Irving, you got Steph Curry, Dame, you got Russell, like you got some of these guys that can handle the ball.
Steph had a couple moments. He had the nice bounce pass alley oop to Giannis.
Yeah, that was dope.
He had a couple pull up threes. He didn't shoot the ball like Steph. Like it was an odd shooting night, but I think that was because he had so much going on. Like he was the host, even though Kimbo was the team's host.
He's the hometown kid though. So
Steph was really the host of the All-Star Weekend, and that kind of that really showed it, I think. And then he had the one where, you know, he crossed up his defender up top, got into the paint, kind of did a behind the back and this like running sweeping hook, lefty hook off glass.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice. And then he had the self alley-oop at the end when they were with like 4 seconds left.
I just wanted to see more often because also you had all those guys that are pretty good one-on-one defenders too. Like I just wanted to see them call them out and like, all right, you did that to me, like I'm gonna come back at you. I wanted to see that back and forth, but I mean, it was just like,
but we
like
know,
how you say moments.
We know how the NBA is now.
Yeah,
like we know it. We were talking about this last week when we were talking about the Anthony Davis drama, and I was talking about Chris Bosh discussing the AAU mentality where like everybody's all buddies and they grew up playing on the same teams and like there's no let me embarrass you like meanness in anybody anymore.
No trash talk, like
the only guys who would do that are Embiid and Westbrook, and they were on the same team and they both didn't play very well.
Now it's more like a personality thing, like like he just has that mentality that dog in him, and then it's like the other people, they're just like
Embiid
real quiet.
Went up for a layup and LeBron slapped down and Embiid thought he got fouled and he's looking at the refs looking for a foul call and like
this is the All-Star game, bro.
like you need to go up tougher than that.
Yeah.
Like I know that they're not defense isn't really played, but when it is played, you're probably not going to get a foul call.
Definitely not in an All-Star game.
Like, let's see. There were a total of 15 free throws shot, and a total of 15 fouls called in the entire game.
They're going to have it a snooze fest already, even more by sending people to the free throw line.
So, Team LeBron does pull out the victory, and
as expected.
And it was kind of interesting to watch because you had the storylines outside of the game, you had the Tamper Fest.
Yeah.
And you saw the tweet that I retweeted with Magic Johnson. All right, we'll give you 1 minute to do all the tampering you want. And he was running across the court. And you had Rich Paul sitting on the sideline, and Anthony Davis and LeBron kind of hanging out, and Kyrie and Kevin Durant hanging out. And you can kind of see like there were some cliques.
Certain cliques taking photos with each other, and they're like, "Oh, could this be like the next like
right
big three?" Like,
so it's
Oh, and Bradley Beal too. He even admitted, he's like, "Yeah, I was doing some tampering during All-Star." Like, he was recruiting people to come play with them in Washington. Like, nobody's not going to go.
No, they won't have the money to pay anybody with the John Wall contract.
Yeah, I was like, you better tell them to trade him.
So coming out of the All-Star game, it's going to be interesting to see like what teams click right away, because that's always the trick. Is some teams, they struggle out of the gates of the All-Star break. The Spurs never usually do, typically because they don't have any all-stars, so everybody's at home like resting and practicing together. And even LaMarcus in this game, he played, how many minutes did he end up playing? He played 11 minutes, had 2 mid-range jumpers, and got 4 rebounds, and then he was done. that was it.
Good job.
Yeah, he so it was, it's always kind of go and have your fun, LaMarcus, kind of relax, showcase and hang out and whatever. And everybody else for the Spurs is, taking care of, like, they get a week off to refresh themselves, and they usually come out.
Try to get 90 to 100% healthy.
And I mean, it helps that it's also always in the middle of the rodeo road trip, which is, I think, one of the hidden key moments or parts of the rodeo road trip, and how much success the Spurs have had over the years, in that they get to take a break in the middle of it, and then come out on the other side refreshed and ready to take on those last few road games before having a little home streak of games. But it's still, I don't think that the All-Star break and the rest of the season is going to change the course that it's already on. The Warriors are still going to win the title. They're still going to be the 1 seed in the West. I think the East is still going. There's no clear front runner. There's the Bucks at the top, but are they going to keep on the same pace that they've been on? Like,
are the Celtics going to get it together?
Because Chris Middleton being an all-star and in the 3-point contest, like I've remember watching players go into the 3-point contest and come out the other side not shooting as well as they were before All-Star break. Yeah. It's kind of like home run hitters in the home run derby, how they'll have 40 home runs at All-Star break, and then they'll hit 25
the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's Sosa and Griffey and Bonds, and even like Giancarlo and Josh Hamilton. Like, they have all these home runs at the All-Star break, and then they go into a slump for a little bit. So we'll see if Chris Middleton shoots the ball as well as he did, if Giannis plays to the same level as he has been. Even guys like Harden, the tear he's been on. Do you envision any of these teams or guys kind of falling off the path that they've been on all season?
I don't really see anybody like to say fall off. Because I pretty much think it's just going to be like they're staying on the same path. Like, the ones that are balling out right now, they're going to stay balling out. They're going to stay winning. Like, the only like main storylines is just to see, like, it's not to see who falls off. It's like who puts it together.
Okay, like, you don't see anybody falling off, but what you do try to see is who's going to right the ship.
Yeah.
Like, are the Lakers going to turn that corner? Are the Clippers going to stay in the playoff hunt? Who?
Like, are the Celtics going to get it together?
Yeah, are they going to
be the number one?
I mean, they've won, I think, like 11 of their last 13 going into All-Star break, so they've kind of turned the corner a little bit. It does seem that Anthony Davis's time has come in New Orleans with what he was saying, how, he's going to post a nice Instagram post or post something nice on Instagram for New Orleans, and so I mean,
he kept the Celtics alive.
Yeah, it's for both parties there, for Anthony Davis and the Pelicans. It does neither person good to play him because the Pelicans could lose out, have the best odds for the number 1 pick. And if they get the number 1 pick, I actually don't think that they should go for Zion. So maybe they don't need the number 1 pick, or get the number 1 pick and trade it for more. Use that asset, because the Knicks, they're going to want Zion. So what do you think they'll be willing to trade at a chance for Zion?
The Knicks, either they're going to try to get Zion or use that pick to get Anthony Davis to be in New York.
Because that would be good for the Pelicans too, because Zion is Julius Randle, just more explosive.
Yeah.
Like a better athlete. But skill set wise, Julius Randle does all the same things that Zion does.
It's just Zion got that.
He has the stature. He has the legacy, like, already.
Already.
And they have Drew Holiday. Like, they need Cam Reddish. They need R.J. Barrett. They need the Harrison Barnes, Kevin Durant, LeBron James type player, the small forward, the Kawhi,
the wing player that can do it all.
Like, they can, guys like Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Hunter and guys like that. That's really who they need to fill out their roster. I mean, they do need a big. I don't know if Jahlil Okafor is going to last. But I mean, he's been playing outstanding, and I think he grew up. He understands the NBA and what he needed to do. Because when he came into the NBA, he had one NBA skill set, which was to post up. But now nobody posts up anymore. So he needed to get into shape. He needed to learn how to run the floor, rim run, kind of pick and roll, and do things that he wasn't used to yet. And you can see that he's really changed how his body is, and how, like, his cardio, and how he's able to run up and down the floor.
Well, he had to, because when he was in Dallas, when Philadelphia either released him or traded him, I forgot how that went down.
They traded him.
Yeah, no. I mean, as soon as he got traded, he was already having issues with the coaching. He didn't play. Like,
he got traded to Brooklyn. Noel got traded to Dallas. I don't think Okafor played for Dallas.
Norland's. Oh, no, Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah.
I was thinking Norland's Noel.
Yeah. Kind of the same thing.
It was the same issue, though. They didn't...
had injuries, and...
Yeah, they weren't playing. They were just... like, they were both, like, stuck in their heads, like... This is me, like...
Yeah, I'm a Supermax guy, and this is my skill set, and I'm not going to change anything.
And, like, you haven't even played. You haven't even shown anything.
Yeah, so we'll really see going forward, because they fired Dell Demps, which I kind of think is a little unfair. I feel like he was kind of
that was
playing against a stacked deck. But he did make the Drew Holiday trade in retrospect turned out well because of the player he became, but they did give up 2 lottery picks for him. They traded assets for Boogie, but I mean, again, they didn't know the type of player that Buddy Hield was going to end up being, but I think Buddy only becomes that player because he got traded to Sacramento.
Yeah, he got time to play in Sacramento and show what he could do.
Yeah, he was given the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like every move that Dell Demps made over the last 8 years has really just been split down the middle. He's won some, he's lost some, and some are just like...
But to me, I felt like those were good moves that he made, like moves that he had to make.
Like, look at them early this year when he was completely healthy. Like, he had his team completely healthy. They were the number 1 seed for a little bit. I know that they were like 19-7 or something like that, and
but
it was so early
like
in the
when
season.
they were together. Yeah,
but they had a well-rounded roster. They had Mirotic pairing with AD well, and Randall coming off the bench, lighting up the scoreboard. Drew Holiday playing at this like third-team All-NBA level. So they had the opportunity, but now Danny Ferry takes over, who has been proven to be a team builder. Because of what
Cleveland and Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
those was his.
Yeah, he helped build. I mean, he was the GM after LeBron left in Cleveland, and so he was the one that drafted Kyrie, and they gave him like 2 years, and they were like, "All right, you're gone." And then he was in Atlanta and helped build the
Jeff Teague team.
Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver, Horford, Joe Johnson, and Paul Millsap in Atlanta. So he's been there, done that. I mean, the only reason they got rid of him was because of that email that he read that had some
racial content on it.
Yeah. Some bad words.
That was during the time the Clippers owner went through that whole racial thing.
Why can't I think of the Clippers owner's name?
We don't care about him.
Yeah. Donald Sterling. That's who it is. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting stretch run in the last few weeks of the last 2 months of the regular season, and we get going on it Thursday. So I mean, like I said, the NBA, the season is really like we understand what's going to happen as far as who's going to end up on top.
Yeah,
but there's so many interesting wrinkles in the NBA on a day-to-day basis that like still makes the day-to-day watching of the NBA entertaining, because there are nights where you're gonna watch Harden go for 50 and 15, and you're gonna see Dame Lillard get on a run, or Steph go on a run, or LeBron have highlight dunks, and Giannis put up 30 and 20s, and just not every night you're gonna see something that wasn't the case for a while. So at least we still have that. And in a few weeks we're gonna start talking NCAA tournament.
Madness around the corner.
And then talk mock drafts and start thinking about the NBA offseason too. And that's what the NFL is kind of starting to do is become a full year sport where every day something could happen, 365 days a year, where it's like you're kind of like, did something happen today?
Yeah, and you're in the know about everything now.
So before we move on, I knew that the All-Star Week game and talking about the main players of All-Star Weekend was going to take a while, but I do want to talk about All-Star Saturday night. The dunk contest is really the main one that I want to talk about. So we'll end on that before going on to the baseball. First, I want to talk about the skills challenge. I love the skills challenge, and I love the guys that they have doing the skills challenge, because you saw Trae Young busting his ass to beat Doncic and Tatum. You saw Jokic's abilities to shoot and pass the ball and dribble.
That's a big.
But I feel like the skills challenge needs more to it, and they need more incentive to win.
I think they should change the course too, because they don't change the course; it's the same course, right?
Yeah, like they should change the course every round.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need to add a down and back. Like they need to, because it used to be they would dribble through a few obstacles and they'd throw a chest pass and then they'd throw a bounce pass and they'd dribble through a few obstacles and then they'd make a layup and then they'd sprint down and try to make a three. Or they would shoot the three and then they would sprint down and make the layup to end the course. And that was when they first did it. It was only 4 people. It was like the Steve Nash days.
Yeah.
And like I'm perfectly fine with making the challenge last longer, because that's the whole point of All-Star Weekend, is showcasing the best guys' talent, the ability to do things. And I feel like they don't really do that because the course is so simple. And
these guys are quick already. Like these guys are fast.
Like the guys they have to slalom through with the crossovers, they're spread out far apart where they don't have to like break down their dribble and like have them go between the legs between a couple of guys. Have them go around the back of the first guy.
Yeah, I want to see them do something.
Yeah,
instead of just like it's a. Like you saw them either like jogging or
the pass is really the hardest part, because they're having to throw a pass through a circle. They have to
with a rubber foam thing.
Yeah,
around it
so you have to
bounce off.
You have to throw it pretty perfectly to get it in there. But other than that, I know that it's comparing to NBA guys, but that's a skills challenge that I can do. I'm pretty sure that's a skills challenge that most guys who grew up playing basketball can do.
It just seems like the typical YMCA tryout. You go, you're standing in line just waiting for people. They got the cone set up. You're just weaving in and out the cones. You do a pass, run to the free throw line, shoot a free throw, or whatever, a jump shot. That was his typical tryout days.
Right, exactly. So this transition goes towards the dunk contest, but I have to talk about the 3-point contest first. So what I was going to say about to end the skills challenge is I just want them the skills challenge should be made harder on these guys.
I feel so, yeah.
And so we'll just remember that I said the skills challenge should be made harder. So when we're done talking about 3-point contest, I can finish the transition to the dunk contest from there.
Comes in full circle.
So 3-point contest, I really wanted Dirk to win it, but he shot that first ball and it went over the rim by 5 feet, and I was like, oh, I was like, what? I know he was having fun.
Yeah, you can tell he was just there for the festivities.
Come on, man! You do not shoot with that much arc in a regular game.
I wanted him to go out like Larry Bird, go for that 30, go out
I did think my gut told me that Steph was going to win it, because I was like, he actually has something to strive for in this one, and I know he wanted a perfect rack, he wanted a perfect
when he hit that
round.
27.
Yeah, he had a couple bad racks throughout, and it was it's funny watching the 3-point contest, because there are guys that you don't turn on the TV to watch. You don't turn on the TV to watch Danny Green and Joe Harris and Chris Middleton.
Now I know who Joe Harris is, at least.
I mean, I knew who he was.
I didn't know who that kid was. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, he's been pretty good over the years. He's been really solid. He's like a Joe Ingles type player.
He had a pretty shot though. That shot was nice.
Yeah, he's a pure shooter. That's why he's second in the NBA in 3-point percentage. They didn't even have the number 1 guy, which is disappointing. Because Davis right now leads the league in 3-point percentage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
I thought they usually have the.
I was disappointed that they didn't have Bertans in it, but you look at the lineup, and I did find out, I didn't realize it before, that they actually did expand the 3-point contest from 8 to 10 guys. And so I kind of wish that they would add a round.
Yeah, I would have figured
like,
that.
They go from 10 guys to 3 guys, and that's the championship round. Like, you have 10 guys.
Well, it was funny. It's ironic because back in the, I keep saying back in the day, but back in the day,
right,
they had more rounds. It was like 3 or 4 rounds.
They had 3 rounds,
and
8
they
guys.
told them that it's too long, you gotta shorten it, and then they shortened it, and now we're like, nah, now you gotta extend it.
Yeah, it's just
you can't add more people and just leave it 2 rounds.
Like, I know that they have a certain amount of time. I really think that they can get rid of the celebrity game at this point. Like, the celebrity game used to be cool, but now, like, I watched the celebrity game and I'm like, God, this sucks. Like, or do what they do for MLB All-Star Weekend. They have the celebrity softball tournament where they have like legends and celebrities play softball. That's pre-recorded. Like, you don't watch that live. Like, they show that.
Play that on Monday, but we're really gonna show it for Saturday.
Or push the celebrity game up to Friday. Like, start the weekend with the celebrity game, and then let the celebrities just get loose on All-Star Weekend. So, Joe Harris wins the 3-point contest, barely beating Steph. Steph had a chance to win it, and he just missed. Got cold. He had a rack where he only made 1, I think, in the final round. So, congrats to Joe Harris. Showing out for all the white guys in the world. So, now I'll finish my transition from the skills challenge. They need to make the skills challenge harder. I feel like they need to make the dunk contest easier. And by that, I mean, when I was watching this dunk contest, and I'm watching these guys, like, bring out Shaq and J. Cole and Airplane and Quavo, and, like, they're trying to do these, like, never-before-seen dunks, and they're doing dunks that they've never done in their life. They're just like, I have to do something spectacular, because if I do something like the Rock the Cradle, like, I'm not going to get any points. And so I'm like, I'm thinking that's kind of shitty, because I mean, it was spectacular when Jordan and Dominique were going up against each other, and Spud Webb was doing what he was doing, and D Brown did what he did, and all that stuff back in the day. And so now we're like, well, guys are more athletic, guys are bigger, taller, stronger, faster, all that. So now we expect, Oladipo to throw down a 540 dunk. And, like, we're expecting guys to jump over a mascot on a hoverboard and go underneath the legs.
But wow, the hoverboard is spinning.
Right, yeah, like, that's what we expect every dunk to be. And we can't expect that. Like, we need to appreciate a guy who's 6'1", like Dennis Smith Jr., jumping up and doing a 360 windmill like Dominique and Vince. Like, we need to appreciate the fact that they can even do that to begin with.
Yeah. Like,
that's why I didn't pick John Collins, because he was, 6'10" and real skinny. And because, like, those guys, like Giannis, they don't look impressive really when they do dunks, that they have to do something. Like, Giannis has to do a between the legs from the free throw line to look impressive.
Yeah.
He has to do like a windmill from, like, 15 feet out. Like,
he's going to have to do some, like, big tomahawk jam from, like, 16.
But, like, why not just let him toss the ball off the shot clock, let it bounce, jump up, and windmill the ball? Because he had to time that.
Yeah.
Like, we need to like lower the bar a little bit, because everybody's expectations is they're in the dunk contest. We better see something we've never seen before.
But
well, that's okay. I'm perfectly okay with that. Like the Hamidou Diallo over Shaq honey dip, that I didn't see anybody actually refer to as the honey dip, and I was disappointed in NBA Twitter.
I was, yes.
I was like, did nobody remember this dunk being called the honey dip?
They're just like, oh, the arm went into the
like, Vince Carter. Like, yes, but
he coin phrased it the honey dip.
It's the honey dip. I was so disappointed that nobody else was calling it that. And like, while that was such a spectacular dunk, and it was obviously the best dunk of the night, like, give that one its praise, but then don't diminish the fact that John Collins went baseline. I know he slightly grabbed the backboard as at 6'10", ducks his head underneath the backboard in one
to the
hand.
Other side,
yeah, like,
also.
Like, well, you know, it'd be like, it would have been nice if he would have like done like a 360 or a 180 or something in that. Like, we shouldn't diminish the fact that this guy was still able to do something like that. And that's why I'm like,
it took like 3 replays for everybody to like figure out what he
did. Yeah, we need to appreciate the Jason Richardson kind of dunks.
Exactly.
Like, where they just jump off of 2 feet, they go underneath the legs and like slam it. I mean, now that's a little too low, but like, we shouldn't make these guys do almost impossible dunks to give them any kind of like accolades and recognition and like applause. We should allow them to do dunks that we've seen before, but now that they're more explosive, more athletic,
they can add a little something to it.
Right. Like, if Dennis Smith would have landed that 360 between the legs he was trying, that would have been the second best dunk of the night. That probably wins him the competition.
Yeah.
Like, people, the other reason that I came to this conclusion was I see so many like, well, it took 5 minutes for them to get a dunk made. Like, they actually land a dunk that like it gets boring. I'm like, well, that's because we're asking them to do impossible dunks for us to like
you go out and try to do that.
Like, let them just go home and like, or go and throw down the 360 windmill, or like imagine if Hamidou Diallo, with how high he jumps, if he just went up there and did like a regular between the legs dunk or a regular windmill, and how explosive he can make that look. Like,
yeah, because it'll just be like, look how high his head got.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Above the rim,
like his elbow is like on the windmill. His elbow is at rim level. Like just something like that, where like he hits it the first time, you get the just immediate reaction to him landing a dunk, and instead we're having these guys try to do these ridiculous off the side of the backboard, let it bounce, go 360 between the legs, under the rim, reverse dunk. And it's like, those guys aren't going to make that on their first try.
With the backhand somersault.
Yeah.
Dismount.
So that's why I'm like, just let these guys do easier dunks and like appreciate the art that these guys can do with a basketball on a court.
Well, it's like what you said on the previous episode where you said that they should bring out the wheel of it has
the wheel of dunks.
I was like I liked it back then when they brought that out the first time. I was like, all right, let's see.
Yeah,
it. But like you can add your flair to it, like.
Like let Giannis pull out the 12-foot rim like JaVale McGee did, and let him do the rock the baby.
Because really, it's they're all doing the same dunks now. It's just they add like a little twist to it every now and then, like. Collins grabbing the side of the backboard when he went to
like Dennis Smith Jr. The dunk that he did jumping over J. Cole. Yeah. Like, the only thing that made that hard was he had to get a guy who doesn't play professional basketball to toss the ball straight up, and everything else
you got time
was
he
cleared a guy sitting on a chair and just grabbed the ball and dunked it one-handed, and like it looked spectacular. But that's not a hard dunk to do. The timing is the hard part, and you're again expecting a guy who doesn't do this for a living to toss the ball on time and on target, And honestly, the best dunk of the night would have been if J. Cole would have made that dunk. If J. Cole would have thrown that down, I would have turned off my TV. And we wouldn't have needed to finish the...
It's over.
Yeah, we wouldn't have needed to...
It's over, y'all. It's over. Go home.
So that's all on All-Star Weekend. I know it kind of got a little lengthy there, but you know what can you expect, listeners?
This is the expected now. Like.
Yeah, it better be. So now let's move on to a sport that we haven't really talked about this year, and in a few months, because it's been off season.
Around the corner.
Off season isn't as fun in MLB as it is in other sports, so there's not as much to talk about. And it's not like they have an off season MLB draft. The MLB draft is during the season.
During the season.
So Manny Machado, he lands a 10-year, $300 million contract with the San Diego Padres. It's interesting to see the Padres land a guy like Manny Machado.
Of his stature, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure this is like the first big free agent signing they've had in their career.
Nope. That couple years ago when they had Matt Kimbrel, Justin Upton, Will Myers.
I thought they traded for Upton.
They traded for like Kimbrel and I think Upton. They signed Matt Kemp.
Yeah, but Matt Kemp was coming off of injury, and the Dodgers were like, "Nah, we're good."
But those guys, like...
Yeah, I mean...
then, Matt Kemp had his name. Like,
they did have, like... Oh, man, the Padres could be a playoff contender this year.
Yeah, Kimbrel, who was known as, like, the best closer at that time.
He's still probably the best closer. Or well, him and, like, Kenley Jansen. And
then Justin Upton, that was, like... Oh, like, him and his brother always...
Yeah, BJ.
Yeah, but, like, he was the best one out of the two. And then he doesn't do hot in San Diego. He goes to Atlanta, and then like he turns it up in Atlanta. Like,
well, that was BJ went to Atlanta because Justin is in Detroit.
He went to the Angels then, right? Justin went somewhere else after San Diego.
He went to Detroit.
He went to Detroit. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I thought he made a stop before going to Detroit.
I don't remember, but. Yeah, they've tried making their splashes, but really, they haven't been a big like
market.
This Manny Machado is 25 years old, about to turn 26, and he's an all-star and an MVP type guy that they're gonna have for the rest of his prime.
Yep.
And I hope that they can build around him, because the Padres are such a kind of. It's funny because they're a storied franchise, but like I don't really remember a great Padre team. Like I remember seeing
just players.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman and Ken Caminetti.
The first baseman, what was his name? He went to the Dodgers after being a
Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, so but they haven't been like a super successful franchise. Like they have a good minor league prospects core, a bunch of young guys.
The best in the league.
And are they better than the White Sox? Because I knew the White Sox had it.
Well, I read an article recently saying that they had the number one farm system in the league right now.
I definitely know that they had a top one. I just didn't know that it was the best.
And you was right. So San Diego Padres. Then Justin went to Detroit, and then now he's with the Angels.
Yeah, that's right. So, what do you think about the deal? Like, what do you think? Do you think the Padres should have done it? Do you think it's worth it for them to take this risk?
I think right now is the best time for them to make a move like that. And it's like how we were just saying before, they're either the number one or number two farm system in the league. And to try to build off of the Cubs and Astros type of system instead of doing what they did a couple years ago, try to get big names, mixing in solid big name veterans with the young talent and to help them grow and understand how to win games.
It's kind of the what LeBron did with the Lakers. It's like
what he's trying to do with the Lakers.
Yeah, he committed long term to the Lakers so that they could build a championship team next year and 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So there's no way in hell that I see the Padres making the playoffs this year.
No, I'm not going to say something crazy like that. But what they are going to be sitting real pretty though in the next couple years.
They're the Orioles right now.
Yeah.
But they got the commitment from Machado. And good on them, because now with that commitment, you know where that money's going. You have the ability to retool and work around it.
Just add
and build the team.
Just add more pieces.
Build the team.
Like build up your pitching staff. Get a true ace in there, and like a couple like solid spot starters or relievers.
Yeah.
You're gonna be sitting real nice.
So, what do you think this means for Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper now he only has. Is either the Phillies or San Francisco, unless he calls the Nats and like, I'm willing to come back.
Yeah.
But it's either the Phillies or San Francisco. Like, and he's hesitant on even signing long term with Philadelphia, and they're the only team that's giving him a long term deal with the money that he's asking for.
Yeah, it does seem like it's going to be Philly, which I mean, Philly was already in the playoff mix this last year. They have an ace in Aaron Nola. They have a former Cy Young winner in Arrieta.
And they just extended Nola too. Yeah,
and they they have a few good pieces that are slipping my mind right now. What is his name?
Talking about the outfielder?
Yeah. Rhys Hoskins, who's the young guy who came on and big home run hitter. They signed Gene Segura. Maikel Franco is still there at third base. Cesar Hernandez at second base. Like they had a team that was ready to make the playoffs and ready to take the next step. They traded for Real Muto from the Marlins, an all-stars catcher. So they're.
I feel like the Phillies are what the Padres could look like in 2 years from now with Manny Machado.
Yeah. I think if the Padres get some good pitching, they'll be better than the Phillies. Like they're going to be in a better situation.
Just because the young talent they got, they got young talent everywhere.
Because Manny Machado is better than any position player that the Phillies have right now. And one could say that he's actually a better overall player than Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper just comes with this flair. What you said about Zion is that aura. Like he
got that flair with him.
Like when you see Bryce Harper play, you see like a showstopper. Like he might not actually. Like he's Russell Westbrook or James Harden in the MLB, where his numbers look all great and stuff, and like he makes flashy plays happen, but like are you going to win a championship if he's your best player?
I don't think so. It wasn't proven in the Nats, and the Nats built a solid team around them. So
they were very, very good.
Yeah.
To be fair, they choked away some great opportunities.
He didn't perform well either, so in many of those opportunities.
So do you see Bryce Harper getting anything more than what Machado got? Because I think that's where a lot of people that's what a lot of people were thinking was, Machado's going to end up in the 200 to 250, and Bryce is going to end up at 3, but Manny goes and signs for 3.
Well, from what I was hearing was both of them was asking for 3, but I think with Machado signing for 3, I don't think that rises up Bryce Harper's price. I think his stays around the same, because I don't think there's going to be a team that's going to come out there and say we'll give you 310 or 325.
Now last question. Bryce Harper not being signed. We know he wants a big contract, long years, big money, like the typical A-Rod contract as it should be known as, because he was the revolutionary in it. But if you're Bryce Harper, why don't you do a Boogie Cousins deal? Why don't you do prove something?
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, why don't you do? Hey, I want to win a championship. 1, I want to get signed by a team, and if none of these teams are looking at signing me to this deal, why not sign a 1-year, $10 million contract? I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't know what he could get, and sign with a team like the Astros or the Cubs or
even San Francisco, because San Francisco's having a 3-year deal is what they offered him.
I think something like that, or a team like Milwaukee, and like a team that, or the Dodgers even, like one of these teams that are on the cusp of winning, have won in the past few years. Go sign with these guys. Go show how great you are, because people aren't going to be able to pitch around you when you're around other great players. Yeah. Sign your 1-year deal and go on about your business, because if Bryce Harper signs with a team for 1 year, wins a championship, has 40 home runs, bats at a 300 average, and has that Bryce Harper season of a couple years ago, not necessarily to the extent of winning the MVP like he did, but just slightly below it, where he's still a top 10 player in the league. All we've seen in the last couple of years is injuries
and raise their batting average.
Yeah, and strikeouts, and we haven't seen and I think that's the reason why
teams are hesitant on him.
You're not seeing just bam, here's your contract. The only reason Washington was bam, here's your contract was he was the franchise. He's the face of the franchise. That's if he was a free agent coming out of Seattle, Washington isn't offering him that contract.
Oh no.
So I think that's why not do that? If you're Bryce Harper, why not?
It makes sense. It doesn't hurt you.
The only thing that you lose out on is 1 year at $30 million. You're signing a deal for $300 the year after that, possibly signing a deal for $300 after that, and you have I believe he's Under Armour.
Yeah.
That contract and all the other national commercials that he does, and
you could make way more than $30 million just off of endorsements.
So it's the same way I felt about when Boogie signed with the Warriors. It was like a gut punch, because it's I hate the Warriors, and they got better. That's how it would be if he signed with the Yankees. But on the other side of that, I also was well, no shit, he signed with this team. Nobody else was offering him a deal. And
for somebody like him to not get a call from anybody.
Yeah, he go win a championship, because we know what championships do to the way people feel about you.
Yep.
Kobe Bryant raped a woman, bought his wife a $4 million ring, won a championship.
All is forgiven.
Nobody thinks about that anymore.
All is forgiven.
Ben Roethlisberger raped 2 women, won 2 championships. All was forgiven. Not from Antonio Brown, though.
He knocked the girl off a bar stool.
All those are allegations, but that's just the joke that I'm trying to make. Is winning makes people forgive you.
It does. It literally does, though.
So, we'll get more into the MLB season here in a couple weeks. We'll kind of go back and forth with some NBA, some March Madness, some MLB. So let's wrap up. Let's go into Fire, Dire, and Prophecies like we always do. We're down a man, so it's just us two. What is your on fire, Alvin?
My fire, I'm going to go with Cap and Eric Reed selling it out in court with the NFL.
Backing up that Brinks truck.
Yeah, bring it on in, boys. I don't know. There's talks that saying that an NFL team now is probably going to sign Cap, but I'm like, Eric Reed got his money with the Panthers, so I mean, like, if Cap ends up with an NFL team, that's great. But I know this was hush money.
Cap is the face of the whole thing.
Yeah, this is hush money.
Eric Reed getting a deal was, I think, more out of necessity of the Panthers, and you know. An average NFL or an average person won't know Eric Reed's name. The average person will know Cap.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to take... I mean, it definitely hush money, like you said.
Yeah, this is hush money.
It's definitely like...
NFL wasn't going nowhere with it because it's not in an NFL court system.
Yeah.
He went outside the NFL court system.
It's going to stretch out in the face of... in public and legal battles and
I just felt like the owners was tired of it already, and they was just like, all right, here's some money,
it was
you can't talk about it.
Dan Lebitard brought up a very good point that the owner of the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, he's very progressive, and he's very I don't give a shit about what people say, like. And there's the speculation that Tannehill's on the outs, and so that they're going to be looking at getting a new quarterback. Why not take Cap?
Man, there's a lot of teams out there where they could just be like, why not take Cap?
Yeah. So I still don't know if he gets that call, he gets that contract. But it would be nice to see him back in the league, even though I hated him when he was like all high and mighty, running for like 180 yards against the Packers in the playoffs.
Doing Mike Vick stuff.
But that was just because I was an RG3 fan, and I was like, if RG3 was put into the same situation that Cap is, RG3's a better thrower of the ball.
You'll stick with your Baylor alone.
RG3 was damn good if he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
Like if he would have stayed healthy, he was going to be damn good.
Well, he was showing out for the Ravens in the off season.
Yeah, so
before the season ended.
So my fire is next year's dunk contest.
Next year.
That's my fire, because as I said, this year's dunk contest was like, that was a good dunk. That was fun. Did you see the guy? He broke a plane. Like that's how this dunk contest was. Next year, you have Giannis talking about doing it. You had Donovan Mitchell talking about doing it if Giannis did it. Then you have Zion doing it.
Donovan Mitchell was in one before, right?
He won it last year.
It was last year.
He was a rookie last year. Come on, he was your rookie of the year.
My rookie of the year.
Next year's dunk contest.
I still want one more star. Like, there was even thinking, like, will Zach LaVine go back and do it? I was like, I hope he will.
Yeah. Like there's I thought Miles Bridges put up a good showing, but he had kind of the same issues where he missed his first dunk, and that's why he didn't go to the finals. If he would have made both of his dunks...
Oh, yeah, they would have been... It would have been him and Collins.
It would have been him and Diallo.
Yeah, Diallo. I said Collins. Yeah, Diallo.
So Like I'm fine with it being Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and Zion, and just throw in a guy because like those three alone are star power.
Well, bring back Diallo.
And then bring back Diallo, the reigning champ, and let's see if we can get another Jason Richardson 3 in a row kind of thing. Like that's why next year's dunk contest is my fire, because next year's doesn't have to follow up the Gordon Levine dunk contest. It follows up this dunk contest, and you're probably gonna have some more star power in it. So I think next year's dunk contest is on fire. Switching over to Endire, my Endire is a team that didn't win, didn't lose, came to a draw today, and that's Barcelona. I mean, they were on the road, so, like, take it with a grain of salt, but you're Barcelona. You have a chance to, like, really just advance today. Yeah. Like if you do what PSG did, go on the road, get a couple goals, win the game, go home, and then come to a draw, you're good. Okay, yeah. But now, like, the pressure is on you because
you gotta win this next.
You can't give up a goal, or if you do give up a goal, you have to win 3-1.
Yep.
Like, the pressure's on you now. And Suarez didn't play very well today. And like Messi's great. To me, he's the second greatest player of all time. He's definitely the greatest player of the last 40 years.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that makes him who Messi is the fact that his ability to pass the ball and create opportunities for others only happens when those others create for him.
Yeah.
Like,
run up the pitch, build up the space.
Like, where he gets a lot of shit for his national team failures, but like, look at the guys he's playing with in Argentina. Like, Argentina, I mean, they've had some very, very good teams.
But just look at the past year, what they had to deal with the manager and all that stuff. Like, when you deal with stuff like that.
Look at some of the World Cups and the Gold Cups and the national tournaments he's been in, and look at like how Aguero did, and look at the other guys around him, like the goalkeeper just letting a ball roll between his legs,
just dumb stuff. Like, you're just like, what?
They've never had a great defense to begin with, and
they never will.
and it's one of the things that I think makes Germany so damn good every year is, one, they're so technically sound, but two, they're all 6'5". Like, they're going up against a South American team that the tallest guy is 5'11".
Average height is 5'6".
Yeah, it's just like the genes of these people do not counterbalance very well. So I was like, that's why, like, Messi needed Neymar, just like Ronaldo needed the guys at spacing on the guys at Real.
Oh man.
Yeah, just
the guy from Wales, what's his name? Gareth Bale.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Brazilian that I said is the best player on Real Madrid.
The other midfielder, the real CR7.
I'm spacing on it. But like,
you're talking about the left back, Marcelo.
Yeah, Marcelo. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Like, he needed Marcelo to be able to, like, put the ball into spots where he can use his speed and his power and stuff like that. Like, one-on-one, he's still great, but like, he can only be one-on-one if the other guys are good.
Yeah.
So, like, Messi needs somebody to step up. Barca also would like to have Messi, make some Messi magic, but
I mean, he did the other match.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the only reason they're in my Endire line, is because, Like you win this game 1-0, and you go home, and you're set. So it just puts pressure on them in a couple weeks. So who's in dire for you?
In dire for me right now, I said it on the last episode, major sports teams are having issues. Mine is the Lakers. Again, question mark, will they miss the playoffs, though? Because they're in the West. And right now I'm leaning more to that they will miss the playoffs.
They're not missing the playoffs.
Like, that's the team that I want to see if they'll be able to put it together. Like I was saying earlier in the episode, that it's more of who will put it together than who will fall. And Lakers are one of them, because after that whole AD debacle and all that, like...
So I don't think that they're going to get the 2 seed like I predicted before the season.
Yeah, definitely not.
Part of that I think is the LeBron injury.
Well, then I also think the Lonzo Ball injury plays a lot into it too, because I know I'm not. His offensive game is trash, right? Like
he's a good passer.
He's a great passer, but he's also a great defender. I give him that. He can defend.
He's so good.
And with him on the court, they could switch almost everything, and it shows when he's on the court. When he's on the court, they're like a top 7 defense in the league. Mm-hmm. When he's not, ever since he's been out, they're the worst defense in the league. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
and I didn't think they were a good defense even when
they have their flaws, but yeah. I mean, right now the Clippers are in the 8 seed, and I mean that's
expecting them to go
that's the tricky part. This is the Western Conference, and so your top 8 seeds right now: Golden State, Denver, Thunder, Portland, Rockets, Jazz, Spurs, Clippers. And then it's Kings, Lakers. So I don't expect any of the top 7 to fall out.
Yeah, I expect that to stay the same.
You have one spot that the Lakers can get into. They're 3 games behind them right now. I mean, you still have 20 games left. What are they at? 28 and 29, so they've had 57 games.
I just feel like LeBron's going to have to have one of those
25 games left.
Like, LeBron's going to have to put on one of those runs where he carries them on his back and takes them to the 8 seed, or else I think the Kings are going to take the 8 seed.
See, this is the brilliance of LeBron to me, is with a team like the Lakers, like, this team is more talented than the team he had last year in Cleveland.
Yeah.
That I think that all it takes is the LeBron run, but that run just needs to be like 10 games. It doesn't need to be the rest of the season, but it needs to be these next 10 games, hit that run, go 9-1, 10-0, something like that.
Well, that's why I like the Kings, because the Kings are young and real good. And, like, when you're young and real good, you got that swagger, like, fuck, we could go in and beat anybody any day.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
They go in like, but Lakers are coming in was like, oh man, we got to win this.
That's why I think
can't afford to lose this.
Well, if they go on a run coming out of All-Star break, LeBron goes on that run. I feel like that's going to actually energize the young guys that he plays with. Now that they're going to be like, all right, LeBron. Just like LeBron's being LeBron right now, let's step our game up. And Kuzma and Ingram stepping their game up is better than any guy on Cleveland last year outside of Kevin Love stepping their game up.
See, I got no issue with Kuzma. My issue is like Brandon Ingram.
I'm not saying Kuzma's been bad at all this year, but I'm saying, like, if Kuzma sees LeBron doing things that only LeBron can do in the league, and they go on a 10-game winning streak coming out of All-Star break, that's going to energize Kuzma.
Well, I think he could pull that off. That kind of win streak in the West.
No.
Yeah.
I'm being hypothetical that I do, like, I could see if LeBron went on this run. Like, I was just it was my retort to you thinking that LeBron needed to go on this run for the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Where I think he just needs to go on a run for a small sample size and all the young guys that he's playing with, and the rest, like the whole Lakers team is good enough to, like, okay, now LeBron can take a step back, like pull off the gas a little bit, and we can help with the load. And I think one of the things that Luke Walton needs to do is, I haven't watched the Lakers game in a while, especially with a healthy LeBron, so I don't know what the roster, like his starters, his rotation, but I feel like Brandon Ingram needs to be the sixth man.
You feel he should be coming off the bench?
He should be coming off the bench right now, like on this, like in this version of the Lakers, he should be coming off the bench. And you should be starting right now Rondo, Hart, Kuzma, JaVale, and LeBron.
I don't know. You don't think it's too late to tinker with a lineup?
I don't think it's ever too late to tinker with the lineup. Because if everybody knows the system and everybody is on communicates properly and they practice together and they like, well, I can't even say that, because like you've seen teams in the playoffs start a new guy in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. like they.
Yeah, but I feel like that's from seeing a sample size. Like the Iguodala factor, him guarding LeBron James that year when the Warriors won.
Yeah,
like you saw that happen 3 games prior to the last game where they won in Cleveland, where he finally decided to push with the start.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think it's ever too late, because at some point, like, especially like in the playoffs, you're gonna be like, oh well, I've seen this, let me change it. Where like now you have 25 games left. Go to Brandon Ingram. Hey, you're going to be our James Harden at the Thunder, our Monty Ginobili, our Lou Williams, our Jamal Crawford. You're going to be a 20-point-a-game scorer, but you're going to come off the bench. And when you come off the bench, you're going to be subbing out for LeBron. Maybe play him 10 minutes tops with LeBron. It allows LeBron to rest, and like you're saying, hey, go be who we think you are.
With the second unit, though.
yeah. Where he's not just relegated to spot up corner threes. Like, he gets to be the guy that we've seen where he's going for like 35 points. Like we know that he has an offensive game, but I feel like Luke Walton hasn't put him into a position where he's the typical new age NBA player where you have to kind of cup his balls a little bit and nurture him.
Yeah, because he's definitely an emotional guy. You see his game be affected on his emotional state.
That's what the Lakers need to do. And I mean, it's getting scary because 25 games left and they're 3 games out, so it's not like it's.
And a good chunk of them are against teams that are in the playoffs.
So they have a chance, and they do need to go on that run. Let's finish up your prophecy.
It's that time. Tomorrow at Duke, North Carolina. You already know who I'm going with.
Tobacco Road.
You already know. Gotta go with my boys. They're going to pull up the upset, knock out Duke in Duke. Yes.
And they're going to lose by 20.
Don't.
They're going to lose by 20.
It's not till tomorrow, though.
They're going to lose by 20.
It's not till tomorrow. They're going to win it. They're going to pull it out in Duke.
My prophecy is the top 2 seeds in the West, Golden State, Denver. This is under the assumption we record Monday night instead of Tuesday night next week. So they'll play 4 games combined. They'll go 0-4.
Both of them?
Golden State has Sacramento, who we just talked about, and they're home against Houston. Well, both games are home. They're home against Sacramento, home against Houston. And Denver is at Dallas Mavericks and home against the Clippers.
Wow.
So,
you think
coming out of All-Star break, I think they'll both go 0-2. So 0-4 combined from the two top seeds in the West, pulling them back into the pack a little bit. And with that, it wraps up an edition of a two-man Benchwarmers podcast. I am Casey Coggins, joined by Alvin Hebert.
Always Carrie.
Andrew will be back next week, hopefully. And we'll see you next week.